Hello and welcome to Manga Tora 96, and today we're going to have a discussion on the series That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. With the second season being in full swing, it's the perfect time to talk about this series. Specifically, we are going to talk about 5 of the most prominent subordinates of Rimuru. Before we begin, I have to warn you that of the 5, one character still hasn't appeared in the anime. Well, if you exclude the OVA. And with the other 4 I will be mentioning events that happened later in the story. So if you don't want to be spoiled, then this video is not for you. For everyone else, let's start strong with everyone's favorite busty secretary, Shion. Shion is Rimuru's number 1 secretary and bodyguard. In addition, she is the leader of the Yomigare and also one of Rimuru's strongest fighters. When she got resurrected and evolved into a wicked Oni, during Rimuru's Harvest Festival she reached the strength of a disaster class. As for Shion's personality, she is very clumsy and rather dense, but above else she is passionate. She does not understand the beauty of gentle refinement and natural simplicity. She does everything with all her strength. When cleaning, everything must be erased, she concluded and attempted to destroy the very building. However, after her resurrection, while she still often intends to make impulsive and unwise decisions and tries to solve things with violence most of the time, there are times when an uncharacteristic wisdom of hers shines through, when she deals with someone who is compatible with her personality, like when she dealt with Dargrowth's 3 sons invading Tempest to challenge Rimuru, where she put them down all by herself and turned them into her students, impressing even Rimuru. Now let's talk about her role in the story. Shion died protecting Shuna from the invading Farmost Otherworlders. The magic energy concentration dropped due to the barrier placed around Tempest, so her strength had fallen, leaving her defenseless. In addition, Shion was always bad with barriers. However, she was later revived by Wisdom King Raphael, causing her to evolve into a weakened Oni as well. In the middle of the evolution she received during the Rimuru's gift-granting ceremony, when she needed to express her dearest wishes, she wished for her cooking to be delicious, thus obtaining the unique skill Cook. During the Octogram, Shion fought with Clayman and truthfully beat him up. When the Holy Knights were marching to Tempest to kill Demon Lord Rimuru because of a misunderstanding, Shion defeated hundreds of Holy Knights and their captain on her own. She also later defeated almost all of the men of the Holy Knights in an arm wrestling match. Shion defeated all 3 of Demon Lord Dragul's sons when they came to Tempest to challenge Rimuru without even unsheathing her Odachi. Later they become followers of Shion and train under her. Also, Shion is fanatically loyal to Rimuru and is always competing with Shuna on cuddling Rimuru and deciding who should be Rimuru's wife. Moving on to the commander of Tempest, Benimaru. Originally an ogre, he was uncertain of his servitude and asked for it to be temporary, but after being named he evolved into a Kijin, immediately becoming Rimuru's most powerful subordinate for the time, and decided to serve him permanently. Soon after, Benimaru was given the position of commander-in-chief, giving him direct command over Tempest military forces. Upon Rimuru's ascension to a true demon lord, Benimaru evolved into a fair Oni and reached the strength of a disaster class monster. As for Benimaru's personality, he has a carefree personality, that of an excited and confident man. Even so, he is actually really cautious and cunning as well. He has no interest in serving anyone who he doesn't deem worthy. However, he doesn't battle those weaker than him. Benimaru felt hesitant when faced with the responsibility to take over the position of the Ogre tribe village chief. Thus he is content with his current position with Rimuru as the lord he serves. As the military commander, he merely wishes to rampage to his heart's content. Had he become chief, he could not ride off to battle, but now it was different. He can participate without any concerns. As for his relationship with Rimuru, Benimaru was wary and suspicious towards Rimuru when they first met, going as far as attacking him and his party, but was later convinced by Rimuru and later entered a treaty with him, allowing Rimuru to name him, saying he is deemed worthy to name him. After the defeat of Orklork, together with the other Kijins, Benimaru asked for prolonged allegiance with Rimuru, and is extremely loyal to Rimuru, going as far as he completely forgives Gelt for the Orklork misdoings. Now moving on to the top ninja in Tempest, Souei. He is Rimuru's faithful shadow and the leader of the Shadow Squad of the Jura Tempest Federation. Souei seems to be afflicted with Chunchubyo. After being appointed as a ninja, he took this position very seriously, too seriously for some of his companions and co-workers. Regardlessly, his presence radiates composure and unblemished strength. Though whenever he thinks anyone is insulting Rimuru, he gets a creepy smile on his face. He operates ruthlessly and doesn't interpose personal feelings. He keeps his delusions only to times of peace and properly makes sure that it doesn't interfere with his work. Despite some the concern about his personality, he does his job properly and is very competent, able to create a counter-espionage force within a few months that's able to fend off spies from the armed nations Dwargo, though it doesn't seem like he was able to notice the magical observations done by the sorcery dynast Shion. So against purely magical espionage methods, he still might require the help of experts on magical matters like Shuna, Diablo or Rimuru himself. So he has an eloquent tongue to match his good looks and always expresses himself very stoically and confident. Like all the other survivors of the ogre tribe, Souei is also very loyal towards Rimuru, and he also keeps up his long-lasting childhood friendship with Benimaru. Especially now that Benimaru and Souei are no longer master entertainer and can treat each other more equally in public. He is his lord and master. Souei believes that Rimuru installing him as a ninja has unlocked his full potential, and he is forever grateful. Moving on to the strongest butler, Diablo. Diablo is one of the 7 demon primordials and the executive of the Jura Tempest Federation as the second secretary of Rimuru Tempest. Let's talk about Diablo's background and some of the events that were covered in the OVA episode. Thought of as strange by the other primordials, Noir only acted on whims and didn't show any regular behavior, to the irritation of some of the other primordials. Due to that, he one day stopped pursuing power as his power efficiency became so high that any fights were too easy for him, causing him to remain as an archdemon despite having enough power to evolve into a demon peer already. One day when he personally answered a demon summon of a silver wing on a whim, he had a chance encounter with Shizuo Izawa. During a confrontation where Noir was about to finish her off, he was repelled by Shizuo's anti-magic mask instead, making Noir realize that the mask has the power to compress time or the power of infinity. After those events, he returned to the spiritual world and continued observing Shizuo and the mask in secret. When he saw that the mask broke and it lost its power when the mask came into Rimuru's hands, Noir came to the conclusion that Rimuru is connected to the power of the mask that surpasses time itself, as he witnessed, and that Rimuru is therefore the key to the truth of the world. He tried to get summoned when Rimuru performed a greater demon summoning within Ramirez's labyrinth. He failed and Beretta of his own line of demons answered the summon first, much to his chagrin. Finally, when Rimuru did another greater demon summoning to catch the hiding reason, Noir managed to answer the call alongside 2 of his greater demon followers. After some further events, Noir finally received the name Diablo from Rimuru and evolved into a demon peer. As for Diablo's personality, he is whimsical but also very calculative when he wants to be. He usually shows an absolutely composed attitude, but whenever anyone insults Rimuru, his polite exterior turns into a cold form of malice and he proceeds to punish the sinner in the most painful way imaginable, unless it goes against Rimuru's orders. However, when someone has a good relationship with Rimuru, Diablo usually treats them humble, though he might still manipulate them for his own ends, with his own ends usually referring to being close to Rimuru more often. Diablo follows Rimuru's orders to the letter. When tasked with increasing the difficulty of Lemaire's test as a guard for guests to Tempest, Diablo summoned a moderately strong monster. The moment Flamers got paralyzed by the creature's goo and still showed a will to fight, Diablo sent the creature away and went to report back on Flamer's actions. Should there be some grey area in his instructions, Diablo has the freedom to carry out his orders how he sees fit. The greatest show of Diablo's loyalty to Rimuru was recruiting hundreds of other demons, including the last 3 purgatories, to serve his master, the creation of the Black Numbers, who became the de facto strongest fighting force in Tempest. Noir was given the name Diablo from Rimuru, and he is loyal to Rimuru to the degree of worshipping Rimuru as his god. Diablo only takes orders from Rimuru and will always carry out Rimuru's order to the best of his abilities. Diablo has a friendly relationship with all who serve Rimuru except for Shion. They are rivals for being the primary secretary for Rimuru, though aside from that they both share a similar fanatism for Rimuru, though for different reasons. Last but not least, let's talk about everyone's favorite horned wolf, Aranga. Aranga is an extremely loving and loyal subordinate of Rimuru, who almost always resides in his master's shadow and absorbing his energy until called for or when otherwise necessary. He is the leader of the Tempest Wolf clan and the son of the previous boss of the Dire Wolves. Aranga is a very proud and loyal monster. Towards Rimuru he retains many of the traits of a dog, such as loyalty, wagging his tail when he's happy, licking Rimuru, being protective, and always wanting to please his master Rimuru. He is willing to give everything, including his own life, for Rimuru's happiness, and will do everything within his power to make that happen. Towards outsiders he comes across a scary, ferocious beast. He is very blunt with outsiders and does not show any form of politeness. He tends to appear annoyed and suspicious of outsiders. Even though Rimuru killed his father, Ranga bears no malice. After all, Rimuru forgave them and also gave them a name. The moment Rimuru regained consciousness after giving him a name, Ranga began following him wherever he went, serving as his mouth and a pillow for whenever Rimuru decides to sleep. He can almost always be found sleeping or waiting in Rimuru's shadow, ready to come out whenever needed. He has a very strong desire to be of use to Rimuru, even if it's to give Rimuru a simple ride on his back. Because Ranga resides in Rimuru's shadow so much, he has absorbed an insane amount of his master's aura, as well as his magiculus. This led him to quickly evolve into a Star Wolf, and then again into a Tempest Star Wolf. Ranga was one of the first to see Gobuta's potential. He suggested he battled against the Lizardman and was enthusiastic about joining him in his battle in the tournament. Like Shion, the two tend to overdo things. He has a healthy respect for Shion and often agrees with her aggressiveness in dealing with Rimuru's enemies, as was witnessed in their team up in their battle against Karibudis. And those are the 5 I wanted to talk about in this video. But as Rimuru has so many subordinates you could talk about, expect a second video sometime in the future with other followers of Rimuru Tempest. And that would be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.